So there will be an operation by the U.S.
It sounds good to me. Yeah. You know why? Because they kill a lot of people.
After the debate on social media, Trump had another version, and today we spoke by telephone for the first time since he became president. Chancellor, you have to go to the United States. The meeting will take place at the White House in Washington, D.C. And they want Greenland for territory. Do you know why they want Greenland? For water, which is frozen today, and they know it is going to melt. Trump should have helped the world to take Netanyahu to serve his sentence for genocide.
Following the dramatic capture of Venezuela's president, the United States appears to be sending a confusing and contradictory message to its neighbor, Colombia, leaving analysts uncertain about Washington's true intentions in the region. Just a few days after warning Colombia of potential military consequences, the US president struck a surprisingly conciliatory tone, extending what seemed like an olive branch to ease rapidly escalating tensions. On January 7th, President Trump held a crucial phone conversation with his Colombian counterpart, marking a rare and highly anticipated dialogue between the two leaders. In a move that caught many observers off guard, Trump invited Colombia's President Gustavo Petro to pay an official visit to the White House, signaling a possible shift in tone after months of public hostility. Only 3 days earlier, on January 4th, Trump had publicly declared that launching a U.S. military operation inside Colombia sounded good, a remark that rattled officials across Latin America. The comment followed an earlier outburst where Trump described President Petro as a sick man who enjoys producing cocaine and selling it into the United States, fueling an already volatile diplomatic situation.
Now, we have a very sick neighbor. It's not a neighbor, but it's close to a neighbor. And that's Venezuela. It's very sick. Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
So there will be an operation by the U.S.
It sounds good to me. Yeah. You know why? Because they kill a lot of people, yeah.
That threat was issued barely a day after American special forces carried out sweeping raids in Venezuela, culminating in the high-profile capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his inner circle. US President Donald Trump said, quote, "It was a great honor to speak with the President of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, who called to explain the situation of drugs and other disagreements that we have had. I appreciated his call and tone, and look forward to meeting him in the near future. Arrangements are being made between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the Foreign Minister of Colombia. The meeting will take place in the White House in Washington, D.C., unquote." According to Reuters, Petro confirmed that this was their first direct phone conversation since Trump assumed office, a sign that communication between the two governments had been minimal for months.
After the debate on social media, Trump had another version, and today we spoke by telephone for the first time since he became president. I was delayed in getting here because only just before arriving here, the call ended. It lasted about an hour or more. He let me speak. In the conversation, I raised two issues, so as not to take too long. I told him, and one request was that direct communications be restored between Foreign Minister Diaz and the president. So what did I talk about? Two things, Venezuela and the issue of drug trafficking. What was Trump's response? Trump says, of course, words have to be followed by actions. It was a great honor to speak with the president of Colombia, Gustavo Petro. Who called me? Well, I was invited to speak with him, and I did not say no. I almost did not make it on time to take the call, because we were coming from outside. Who called me to explain the situation regarding drugs and other disagreements we have had. I appreciated his call and his tone, and I look forward to meeting with him soon. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Colombia's Minister of Foreign Affairs are making the necessary arrangements. Chancellor, you have to go to the United States. The meeting will take place at the White House in Washington, D.C. I told Trump, the alliance that I proposed is based on energy, just as he has said, but clean energy, not oil and coal. If it is oil and coal, then they threaten Venezuela, and they threaten Colombia, and they will threaten Chile and Argentina over lithium, and they threaten Mexico over oil. And they dropped a bomb in the most oil-rich country in Africa, Nigeria. And they want Greenland for territory. Do you know why they want Greenland? For water, which is frozen today, and they know it is going to melt. We also spoke with Trump about other issues on which there is still no agreement. That is our objective. That peace in Venezuela is peace for Colombia and vice versa. Peace in Colombia can also be peace for Venezuela, and the greatest factor of violence between Colombia and Venezuela must be removed, which today is called the National Liberation Army. I also spoke 2 days ago with the current president in Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez. I have known her since the beginning of all this. I invited her to Colombia, and we want to establish a tripartite dialogue and hopefully a global one. Any president, whether right-wing or left-wing, who is removed by force by an international or national justice system of another country for crimes against humanity, which can be done because of the International Criminal Court. Trump should have helped the world to take Netanyahu to serve his sentence for genocide.
Relations between Trump and Petro have remained tense and distant ever since Trump took the oath of office in January 2025, defining one of the chilliest periods in US-Colombia diplomacy. The tension escalated as Trump repeatedly accused Petro's administration of turning a blind eye, or even enabling, the continued flow of cocaine from Colombia into American cities. In a major diplomatic rebuke, Trump revoked President Petro's US visa in September 2025 and followed it up the next month by slapping heavy personal sanctions against the Colombian leader. Petro, known for his outspoken pro-Palestinian stance, has often accused Trump of complicity in what he calls the genocide in Gaza, deepening ideological rifts between Bogotá and Washington. During his visit to New York for the United Nations General Assembly, Petro went so far as to call on US soldiers to refuse unlawful orders from Trump, igniting a political firestorm back home. In another bold move, Petro demanded international criminal proceedings against the US for what he called unlawful naval strikes on boats accused of drug trafficking. Since September 2025, the US military has launched more than 30 strikes on suspected drug-running vessels, operations that have reportedly left over 110 people dead. Colombia, which shares a vast 2,200-kilometer border with Venezuela, is now bracing for a potential wave of refugees and migrants fleeing instability after the US intervention. It all began on January 3rd, when the United States launched an extraordinary and large-scale series of airstrikes across Venezuela, targeting multiple government and military sites simultaneously. In a stunning turn of events, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Cilia Flores, were captured by US Special Forces and transported out of the country under heavy security. The couple is now being held in US custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, where security has been heightened amid international protests. In his first court appearance, Maduro pleaded not guilty to serious narco-terrorism charges in a Manhattan federal courtroom, insisting that the accusations are politically motivated. Meanwhile, Washington has officially declared that it now holds control over Venezuela's vast oil reserves, a move critics describe as an attempt to tighten economic dominance under the guise of counterterrorism.